came down and I came down to sabbatical for fall microphone. Oh, you're going to track.
You didn't take off the.
I figured that was noisy enough. Anyway, I came down here in 87 and 88, worked on the plants, collecting them, and taxon is the heart. Then I came down with a student in 97, 98, and that's when I had my fall and broke my shoulder in 11 places. That's another story. And then I came down in October last year to rejuvenate because I felt like it ought to be done. So it says, should say A, vascular flora, not B, A, because it's a work in progress. To prove that, we went out and found Ophioglossom vulgatum yesterday. Matt, one of the helpers here, said, I know one plants you have on your list. And he was right. And so that was real cool to do that. Okay. One of these. That'll help. This is really an international group here. I was looking through the abstracts. It's just really exciting to see. This is Kentucky. Pick out where you're at. Kentucky again. I'm not going to speak much about this, but the mountains are old, very old. And each of these areas here is a big dieback of organisms. But we go back to a long, long way. You know, this is kind of simplified, but anyway, the Appalachians date back, give or take, 570 billion years, not 6,000. And the maximum elevation was at 300 million years ago. The Carboniferous, North America and Africa drifted apart. First, they crashed together. Mountain building and is continuing near complete erosion occurred. That's why they used to be very tall but very small now. And we find in the Pleistocene we had the glacial cycles going on and warring interglacial cycles. Appalachian highlands, antiquity, and convoluted topography contribute to a great diversity in organisms. This is just to show some of the physiographic regions that we have. Right there is the area that we're concerned with. What did I do, Jeff? Oh, I'm okay. I just went off. Coastal plain butts up against, our youngest area, butts up against the United States. And it goes all the way to Mississippi Bay. Piedmont is not a part of Appalachia, doesn't have the flavor of it, and so it's area there. The Appalachian Mountains go about 1,100 miles, all the way from Gas Peninsula and Quebec, all the way down to Alabama and Mississippi. It also is a nice northeast to southwest trending area, so you have north and south slopes, west and east, this sort of thing. Again, you can see where we're at in the area. This map sets the limits of the Appalachians at the Hudson River, and oh my. I don't want to go that far yet. I don't want to do that either. Anyway, the glaciation has been a very important part of this. And you can see the glacial line going through. The last one, the less constant, the last one to advance, were non-glaciated this area, the Appalachians. At that point, we find that pine, spruce, fir was the main vegetation, and it migrated down as the glaciers advanced. And we find that the deciduous flowering plants disappeared and went into coves and hollows for the most part. And the last number of years, soil development has occurred. Herbaceous plants became re-established from refugius refugia from the glacier as a cooling area moved south. Spruce, fir, white pine, birch, maple, beech, and so on recolonized 9,000, 5,000 years. We find the mixed mesophytic, on the other hand, the oak, chestnut, arrived later and moved up and migrated from those coves and from those hollows, if you will, to establish what we have now, essentially is a mixed mesophytic forest. This is a map that there's going to be some controversy on, I'm sure. They had divided the arc back in the 1965 group of people, basically gerrymandering, divided Appalachia all the way from New York down to Mississippi into 3 divisions: the northern, the central, and the southern. However, I chose, and it's referred to as the Central Appalachians in all the literature I've seen too. I follow a book that I used when I was teaching natural history of the Southern Appalachians by Don Davis, Where Are Our Mountains. He used the New River in West Virginia all the way down to where it was at before a minute ago. Appalachia, a Florida Native American tribe, was named when DeSoto first came here. From that, they proposed a name Appalachian, which was coined by a Huguenot missionary for the now what was toned the Appalachians. He called it essentially Monte Appalachian. The Southern Appalachians, in my division, is 3 physiographic provinces: Blue Ridge, the easternmost area; the Valley and Ridge, highly folded area; and the Appalachian Plateau, the westernmost area, and in the highest, going up again from New York all the way down to Alabama. This is a view of the plateau. They extend again, Mississippi to New York, are broad, roughly similar elevations, and are folded in certain areas. Very dissected and dendritic patterns with rivers, deep valleys, and they generally go from essentially 610 to 915 meters. The easternmost of the plateau is the second barrier west to westward movement by settlers, the Cumberland Gap, and over that again. And we find that it's also called the Cumberland Plateau or the Eastern Infected Coalfield Physiographic Region. Fenneman and classified Pine Mountain as a part of the Cumberland Mountains, a section of the Appalachian Plateau province. This is just a map showing essentially the physiography of Kentucky, where we're from in Berea versus the Pine Mountain. You can see that we're in Pennsylvania strata for the most part, and we find that shales, sandstone, siltstones, and of course coal. And this is the geological part showing again that areas Pennsylvanian strata. This is the picture of the Bickford area, which is Pine Mountain, also goes through this area here. And I'm going to be talking about the Bickford area as well as Pine Mountain. When I started the survey, there was no Bickford. And in 2003, it was designated by General James Bickford, who was the general, had good connections, and was able to stop mining near our boundaries, which would have shaken the buildings all to pieces. And it was a long battle, but finally went out. The Continuous State Forest, I'm going to mention that because there was a master's student from Eastern Kentucky that did a thesis primarily in the Appalachian oak section, where over here we're more in the north sides and some of the south side too. As a more diverse flora that way. It's more mesic, it's more drier than the state forest. 2 major types of Southern Appalachian forest. in this area. The Lucy Brown mentioned. Mixed Mesophytic, which is mostly what we have here. And then it borders up on the Shepherd Trail. It runs into essentially Appalachian oaks, which used to be oak chestnut. And that's going to be the next thing. Her divisions then were mixed mesophytic, the blue area oak chestnut. Oak chestnut, once upon a time, was about 35 to 45% of biomass. That's incredible. So when it went in the 30s to the 50s, that's a big, big gap. So I'm going to follow Lucy on this. This is a new map by Dyer, 2006, based on many plots, surveys, and scientific data. And essentially what he's done is call this area just mesophytic. But if you look right through here, it's kind of hard to see. There's the Appalachian oak section, which is essentially was the oak chestnut at this point in time. The Mixed Mesophytic Forest, then again in Alabama, all the way to Central Appalachia, you'll see the little yellow dot there. Includes some isolated pockets of Blue Ridge, and the elevation is a little higher here, very rich soil. It's the most diverse type in the United States, or in the eastern United States. There's an estimate of 2,500 species, and I have no idea how they come up with that number. Mark, how did they come up with that number?
Lucy Braun did.
Okay.
You know, all of her sampling on the mountain here.
I wondered because that's a lot.
Yeah.
Another thing that is important is this canopy in the mixed mesophytic, which is moisture loving, has around 20 to 30 trees that share dominance. Many species comprising the drier Appalachian oak are also important in the mixed mesophytic transition zone or ecozone. Historically, American chestnut was a very important component. The Appalachians pioneers soon realized the value of it. There's a lot of this building that's made out of chestnut, if I understand. Anyway, the Native Americans use it for everything under the sun, especially food. Wildlife uses it for mast. And today, unfortunately, blight, oaks, red maple, ash, hickories, etc., have replaced it. This is going to be a group of plants I'm going to go through. You'll see many of these in marks. Essentially, each one I try to treat has the common name, scientific name, if it's state listed for any particular thing, threatened or rare or endangered, and anything noteworthy about it. If it's got a certain pigment that makes it pretty in the fall, I've mentioned that. If there's some economic use, that's what she folks are here. I'm not an economic botanist, although I taught it for 20-some years. Anyway, this was designated with a blight. Butternut has got the same thing happening to it. It's threatened right now, rather than endangered, but as far as I'm concerned, it might as well be. The butternut canker is just wiping it out right and left. When I first came here to Pine Mountain in 1980, there was a tree about this big, right outside where some people are parking, believe it or not. And I gathered some butternuts up, and then they turned light. But anyway, I used my fruit collection. I've got over 300 fruits and cones, pine cones that I used to use. And so I always thought that's pretty neat. I got my butternuts from there, and then lo and behold, it looked sick, pale, died. American beech is a biggie. People are Budweiser beechwood aged brewing chips, basically a floatsy yeast inclusion, distillation products and so on. It has nice amphiphil yellows and brown tannins, and the leaves stay on, so we can even more assess it. Yellow poplar, tulip poplar, liriodendron, it's got lots of nice uses, paper pulp. It's a good carving wood, dulcimers, and it's tall, seeds are hard to look. It's got nice yellow. colors. And Kentucky, used to be Kentucky coffee trees, we couldn't have that, so the legislature changed it so we could follow Indiana and Tennessee. That's the way it goes. American basswood is an excellent honey source, and it is the most desired carving wood. You've all used the basswood microscope slide, I'm sure, at one time, 1, 2, 3 years. And it cuts real well for microtome, doesn't streak. White canopies, you may or may not know that. And it does sprout around the tree. I usually find it by the sprouts more than anything else. Sugar maple, maple syrup. Sugar, we all know that, bowling pins, pool cue sticks, mark, dance floors, yellow carotenes, nice orange and yellow fall colors. State tree of 4 states. Yellow buckeye has a glycoside in the leaves that can cause death of livestock, what we call bloat. And they eat the leaves, and they do. White oak, cooperage, barrels, cakes, cask. That's usually in the right conditions of light, the right conditions of cool nights will form a red rim around it, and then you'll find the carotenes, anthophyls in the center, and then it'll just all turn by pins, and they stay on the leaves too, or on the tree. And this is a state tree of 3 states. Northern red oak is a lot of that. Great stair railings, veneer, flooring, and so on. Has great colors. And New Jersey is a state tree of New Jersey. Sourwood, you'll know this in the fall because it has a brilliant anthocyanin color, it's fiery red. And this is a great tree. Black cherry, not as common as it used to be, has a glycoside that causes death in mammals. You may or may not have heard of the Lexington, that it mirrors boarding their foals and why they were doing this and what was going on. They simply had caterpillars eat the leaves, they grazed on the fescue and picked up the glycoside, and it caused abortion in the animals. White ash, we think of white ash once upon a time of baseball bats, long implements, shovels, rakes, and hooks, and so on, hockey sticks. Shagbark hickory, impact tool handles, and again, a really good baseball bat for aluminum. Smoky meat chips, edible nuts, and so on. Eastern hemlock, evergreen needleweed, you don't want any of that. Of course, you all know that the Adelgid is taking care of that. We'll be the state tree of Pennsylvania someday. There's 4 magnolias on the campus and in the Bickford area. Fraser's magnolia and cucumber magnolia are 2 I chose just because they're kind of neat, especially Fraser's. American holly, good hardwood, shovels, bobbins, weaving tools, and so on. Big tree of Delaware. Dioecious, this is a female forest. Then we move from the canopy to the subcanopy. These are obviously just the juvenile trees in the subcanopy. And the short trees by nature, you'll see in just a second. Picked up, turned in the bottle real well. Okay. One of the earliest to bloom is Sarvis, Hamalanker, and it has anthracite dull colors. First one. Usually behind it, a few weeks or a few days at least, is redbud. Biblical tree because in there is another Cercis in the Mediterranean region. Pink flowers have been used in salad. Nice yellow colors. And Oklahoma, interesting, is a state tree. The straight flower is American mistletoe. Interesting enough. Flowering dogwood, another biblical tree in the Appalachian texture of having the leaf bracts form a cross, the red anthocyanin notches in it, and a central area, a crown of thorns, and it blooms essentially at Easter time. It has kind of a dull red bronze coloring. It's a state tree of Missouri and Virginia. This is a nice one. Edible berries. They say they taste like bananas. I didn't see that, but they are edible. Raccoons and possums certainly like them. And one of the things I used when I was having my classes identify them is to crush them. Same thing as spice bush and other things. And they have what I think is green pepper odor and very unique flower. The shrubs, and we could list a lot of shrubs here, are the juvenile canopy trees and then the subcanopy along with, of course. This is one named by Lucy Braun. It's endemic, and the Appalachians have a number of endemics. I didn't put that down on all of them, that are restricted to this area or certain Appalachian islands, called the Cumberland azalea. Mountain laurel is a flower now. You've probably seen that if you're walking around, like old timers call it ivy. Wild hydrangea has the flavanol bracts, not part of the flower, it's a modified leaf, and they have that until bronze color. Highland dog hobble, why it's called dog hobble? Because the American black bear was running around and they were pursuing it, the dog that is, and they would get tangled up in this stuff. At Pine Mountain, there used to be a patch over there. I don't know if it's still there. Strawberry bush, hearts and bursting with love. Anthocyanin red capsules, 3-pronged capsules. Lots of vacciniums, blueberries, and all of them are useful for wildlife nest and also gathered for food. Buffalo nut is an unusual root parasite. Has an oily nut, it's not a nut, it's poisonous, and it's an Appalachian endemic, and it will be over on the south slope facing this way because it's drier and warmer, more insulation. Spotted wintergreen, flowers I think smell like grape soda, and it is a unique little plant that is shrub-like. This is one I spent a lot of time on, American mistletoe. The accepted name is Phorandendron leucarpum, subspecies leucarpum, because I had a student myself put out an article with Jay Britt getting the correct name. There's someone here who's supposed to be here from Missouri Botanical Garden. Are you?
Yes, sir.
Are you the one that took it to the Congress and voted on whether to change the name from Surratt back?
Well, there was a nomenclatural proposal, yeah.
That was us. There's also one to keep the old name, which was a synonym by a few weeks. Raffines was a real character.
Yeah.
What he did was he would name one thing on the north side and go on the south side and name it another one. And he did that, and so in the literature he got Phorandendron Surratt started, and on and on and on it went, and it went back and forth, and so finally got that settled. It's thanks to her, because it was like a 16-2 vote in the Congress. Oh yeah. I've documented over almost 40 different species that infects mistletoe. However, the only thing I find in here is on the rim is Nissa. I've also, a student of mine found it on Celestris orbiculatus, which you know is rare bittersweet, and also on shrub honeysuckle, little Mr. Mackie. I can't think of two better things to be infested by American mistletoe. It has toxic alkaloid in the berries, and Native Americans, specifically Cherokees, use it for postpartum hemorrhaging after childbirth. The woody vines, again, there can be several woody vines, and they're not, I included in the shrub layer around inventory. This is one you'll see the leaves of, Mr. Certainly, and that's the industrial pipe vine. It's a major distribution in Appalachians. I would say it's endemic in that sense. The yellow-green flower flares out, 3 little areas flare out on the lip of it. It looks like a pipe, smoking pipe. It's got residualic acid, it's carcinogenic and mutagenic, like kidney failure and urological cancer. It's not a good plant to chew around. Summer grapes are the most common grape around this area. It's important in wildlife mass. Virginia creeper, characterized by 5 leaflets, scarlet red anthracene. I've got this on growing on the wall of my house. I really like it. Eastern poison ivy, of course, the lustrous 3 leaflets, and it has an oily resin that causes contact dermatitis. Some people don't get a rash, some people do. I used to, don't anymore. I shouldn't have said that. I was in poison ivy, I could very well get it again. And the herb layer is the thing I really want to emphasize. We have the richest assemblage of plants, the spraying ephemerals that come from essentially underground rhizomes, buds, and bulbs and forms, and above ground stolons. It's really characteristic of mixed mesophytic forest. American Chestnut, one of the rare ones. It has glyphosate present in the taproot, and Native Americans use it, and it's been used, it's used all overseas in the Asian countries. Bloodroot is rare, getting rare, and it's one of those that now is being cultivated along with ginseng and golden seal by herbalists, or I say by growers, diggers. And there's not any difference, the way I understand the seminar, where there's not any real difference in the composition of these things, whether they're wild or grown, except the price difference is interesting. Sanguinine alkaloid used in herbal medicine, and used to be in mouthwash and toothpaste products. How many of you remember Biodent? Biodent toothpaste. You'd have this gorgeous woman, and she was not that. She'd get up there and hold this poor dried rhizome with adventitious roots and move it around like this and say that it was really healthy to do all these things to fight tooth decay and so on. I always thought that was kind of interesting. Golden seal. Used as a multi-purpose tonic by Native Americans in various cultures. Celandine poppy, just pretty. I can say that it's just dainty and pretty. These are 2 more that are that way. Borophorin and Vesper's breeches. This is one in a little spring over here, a little seep area. It's very rare. I think it's in 3 counties, Mark. I'm not sure. I didn't check that close, but I think it's just in 3 counties. It's threatened in any event. And in that same little seep is a violet that a few people in the eastern United States is like no big deal. New York is like, so what? But down here it's very rare. It's found basically only in that little seep. This is found by John McGregor, Mark, on Pine Mountain. Laparis lucellii. I've always found it in the limestone areas, fens, surface mine areas, limestone forest, excuse me. And it's a threatened species. This is also one mostly on the rim and down from Pine Mountain. This threatened, listed by the Kentucky Nature Preserve Commission is threatened. This one's just quite nice, and it is more over on this area over here on the south side where there's more insulation in the pine areas. This is a very rare one. In fact, it's not even been taken, it's just been photographed and not collected at Pine Mountain, a state listed endangered plant. This is more common than not. Well, the langianosa is more common, but this one is found in Pine Mountain. You can find it if you look for it. It's the spotted, maculated, meaning spotted, and of course it's on the petals. Jack in the pulpit or Indian turnip contains calcium oxalate crystals. If you chew on it, the rat eyes will get in your tongue and you wish you hadn't. If you boil the corn, on the other hand, you've got a good starchy corn. Good source. Bone flower is, I saw this quite a bit when I was walking around. There is one called brandywine. It's a cultivated one that grows very nicely too. Hepatica, one of the old doctor's signatures plant because it looks like it helps the liver. There's not much to that. Podophyllum has a glyphosate used in certain types of warts and cancer treatment. Anybody guess what kind of warts it's used to treat?
Genital.
Genital. Yeah, so I just put warts on that. Ramps, a wild leaf. There's a lot of ramp vessels, including Everett's, which is right over a mountain here, near Harlan. Blue anemone. We have Claytonia carolina here. Claytonia virginica has been reported, but I haven't collected it. Maybe somebody from Pine Mountain can let me know if they've seen it. This one should be on my list, but it's not. There are several trilliums here. These are the most common, the red trillium and the white trillium. Forest phlox is just a pretty spring plant. Cutleaf torfwort, there's 3 of them here, 3 species at Pine Mountain. Yellow trout lily, but not the white one because we're finding limestone. At least not limestone down in Pine Mountain at school. Wild ginger, used by pioneers as ginger spice, multi-purpose medicinal plant by the Native Americans. But again, everything in Aristolochiaceae has aristoloic acid, which is carcinogenic and mutagen. So I don't think I want to use it in any spices. Black cohosh, there's someone talking about black cohosh here, I think. And this is one that has shown that it can treat menstrual cramps and menstrual menopause symptoms. And it's used with Americans. Galax is an interesting plant, but never been heard. But again, on the south side over here is where you'll find it. And it has got very brilliant reds during the autumn and winter if you have the right light and the coolness. The article I'm referring to is one of my students that's finishing up his doctorate at North Carolina at Chapel Hill, testing the above ground versus the below ground parts. So it's kind of an interesting paper. Southern fall wildflowers, mostly the Asteraceae, Poaceae, and Fabaceae. The asters, goldenrods, and bonesets. Showy gentian, a state list of special concern. Is a pretty one, not common. These are summer to fall plants. Indian pipe is up now. And the monotropa is pine sap. It's literally in the pine areas where I find it. 14 asters, and that's including the segregated genera that we have here. So I didn't put that 14 asters on that. 12 goldenrods, including courtesy goldenrod, a special concern listed. It looks a lot like Solidago. I can't think of what.
Cesium.
Yeah. Eupatorium, Steele's Eupatorium, an Appalachian endemic, state threatened. Looks like purple rim, and this looks some more like purple rim being in the woods. Wild indigo, yellow wild indigo, original indigo blue dye when we came over as pioneers. That's a threatened plant up on the ridge area. Carpet flower is just a pretty one just to put in. And there's a little word. Lobeline alkaloid was initially used as syphilis treatment by the Europeans. Lobeline is not effective for syphilis treatment. This is very cool. Yellow and orange jewelweed has been reputed to be used for poison ivy treatment before and after you get it. Then we go to Appalachian oaks, and this is in our ridge crest. And it's mostly what you would think. You can see that it gets very close to Pine Mountain. A little higher elevation, and it replaced the old chestnut of loose ground. Quercus, Caria, Acer, Praxis, Pinus, Yissa, Oxydendrum, etc., the drier type species. Number of canopy trees including pitch pine, shortleaf pine, Virginia pine, and a thesis by Emily McIntosh was on the Appalachian oak area and mixed mesophytic, where here our survey was more mixed mesophytic and then Appalachian oak. This is the area that she worked on, 3 tracts, a cup tract and 2 areas called the green tract 1 and green tract 2. This is some of her data. 4 tracts were essentially 351 hectares. Again, it was tend to be the forested areas, Appalachian open and mixed mesophytic. 514 taxa, 13 state threatened, endangered, rare, and it has been the makeup of the tracts versus that. One was Bell County, the other 3, and Contendra was here. Okay, then getting to Pine Mountain, I've gone all the way from the world to here. This is, you'll hear a lot about her, and she is designated the richest center, and one of the finest deciduous forests in North America with the greatest size of individual trees. That's a direct quote. Pine Mountain's got 736 acres. How did we get 800 out of it, Jeff?
I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
We have land that goes across the road,
Right.
and is that included in the 736?
I thought it was. Anyway, 800 is better than 736. Anyway, it goes from the valley at 530 meters to 823 meters at the ridge crest. And of course, that goes right along the little Chevron Trail area, bordering. The Pine Mountain Overthrust Fault, Cumberland Mountain Overthrust Fault, Ecoregion, and East Kentucky Colluvial Physiographic region of the Appalachian Plateau. That's a mouthful. It's a great diversity. And since the Bickford area just literally chiseled out of the north side, a lot of the species are found in both places. Again, lower middle Pennsylvanian, shale, siltstone, sandstone, conglomerate, and coal, residual and colluvial soils, low grade, loamy subsoils, and Woods puts it in the central Appalachian region. So that's essentially the same thing. That's the highest elevation in Kentucky. Here's a survey we went over a long, long time, and that's why it needs to be done. The Bickford wasn't here, so I had to go back and trace with Ben Beckley, who should be giving this talk, not me, because he lived here and he's the best. Anyway, the 348 acres Mixed Mesophytic Forest was inventoried within Pine Mountain, and it became a state nature preserve. 738 taxa, a little bit more than Amy got. 575 are native, 163 non-native. 30 introduced and 133 naturalized taxa are non-natives. 78 naturalized taxa are invasives. Bad news. 14 taxa are planted, and that's not any problem. The Bickford part of that is comprised of 481 taxa, 62% or 65% of the Pine Mountain flora, and at least 12 endangered, threatened, or sensitive plants. There's a table showing the clades, essentially the ferns, the gymnosperms, the primitive dicots and monocots, and the more modern dicots. 736. That's now 737. As of yesterday, I had one more fern. 21 genera and 30 species. That's kind of. The largest families, as expected, are the Asteraceae, Poaceae, Cyperaceae, Fagaceae. You can see there's quite a few species of those. That's a lot of Carex, Mark, a lot of Carex. And my appreciation to these folks. Yeah. Kyle. Is Kyle here? I thought he was going to be here. Anyway, and Joyce Bender for collecting permits, and Ben for stimulating the idea, and his expertise is for the field phases. Yeah, he was a classic. I don't know. I didn't even do that either. How much time do I have left?
You have some time. You can talk about that.
Okay, I want to talk about something that's just a little bit about something on the mountaintop move. This is just 180 degrees different from what we've been talking about. Very nice terrain, and now we move to devastations, desecrations areas. familiar with mountaintop removal. This is an interesting quote. In the Sierras, they climb them, in the Rockies, they ski them, in Appalachia, they use the level. Not by our choice. This is old data. I just put this in at the last minute, but it is a catastrophe. Over essentially 800 miles of mountains that have been destroyed at one time or another. Little mountains to big mountains. This is West Virginia. Mine. It's horrible. How they do that, you're probably familiar, everybody's familiar with it. They essentially take an area, scrape off all the trees, overburden they call it, and then it becomes part of the spoils. Then they put diesel fuel and ammonium nitrate through holes that they bore down in the rocks, and then they blow the hell out of it. And they push that all off in the valleys. And of course, the water supply and the wildlife and everything else are affected by that. Bickford Mountain, West Virginia. Eastern Kentucky coal mine. By the way, Harlan has them. Perry County really has them. Pike County really has them. And Leslie and so on and so on. So this is not unusual. This is another shot of Perry County. Another shot of Perry County. You can see that the little green area at the top. Right there is the little green area. Now you don't see it. A lot of acres. And West Virginia is second to us. Something like that first and something again. This just shows some of the spoils pushed over, the overburden pushed over on the side. And coal waste impoundments, if you're going to clean coal, and there is no such thing as clean coal. When you burn, it's not clean. And so these impoundments build up. Frequently in earthen dams, frequently they're underneath an area that's got underground mining. Coal sludge, what we call slurry, builds up in these. Can you imagine what that's like in wildlife? In 2000, they had what we call a American County disaster, and this is where a mine broke through into the pond, or the lagoon broke through and came flushing out like that. There's 120 people died, 400 missing. I don't know how they got that. This is in Logan County. Buffalo Creek and Logan County continue. Marsh Fork is interesting. This is this disaster waiting to happen. Here you'll see a big sludge pond, big holding area. It's 400 yards from this little area here, which is a schoolhouse, elementary schoolhouse. $2.8 billion gallons of sludge, Marsh Fork Elementary right below it. If it goes, it's going to wipe the schoolhouse. Simple as that. There's been a lot of concern over it. Since 2000, there's been people trying to do something about this, not having much luck, and what they want to do is build a new school, not do anything else. But this is just something what could happen. 21 times bigger than Buffalo Creek, and that Buffalo Creek's the one that showed that horror back there. And this is what we do with our Kentucky level, nice level pasture, we'll call it. We put a prison on it. The only problem with that is the guard towers are leaning. We're not going to stay stable either. I don't know if prisoners get out, but the guards are going to have it. This is a nice book by Eric Rees and Harold Leader, and also the UK. This is where I took a lot of my data from on the Caper Mountain. And that's my comment. How amount of time?